We live in an overly stimulated world, and while there are numerous benefits to modern society, there is also a lot of garbage and new problems that people of past generations never had to deal with. Everyone is always like, Twitter is so cool, go like my tweet, or check out this fun TikTok trend. Every single time somebody talks to me about a TikTok, I immediately mentally check out. And you may be saying to yourself, well, what makes you so high and mighty, mister? Aren't you addicted to video games? And to that I say, you got me there, motherfucker. Also, what does this have to do with anything? Hold on a second, I'm getting there. Everything is so quick now. Movies and shows can't start too slow or people's interest will dwindle. A lot of music is very quick with upbeat choruses and fast tempo. The Mr. Beastification of YouTube, where everyone has to have breakneck speed editing tactics implemented, or perhaps a red arrow in the thumbnail. Never seen that one before. Social media is designed to nullify the real world around it and keep you scrolling, destroying people's attention spans in the process. Video games, more or less, all have to implement some sort of unique core gameplay loop and structure, which I get. I want a very engaging story or very in-depth, satisfying combat mechanics, for example. A game with some of these complex elements like God of War is one of the greatest games that you'll ever play. But sometimes, simple things can be more important than we realize. And I never thought that a video game where you play as a cat can be so unique and sweet and make me feel so much while also maintaining that level of engagement and immersion. Stray is a game that I never had any intention of playing, but I am now very glad that I did. Oh yeah. Check me out. Here we go. Stray came out last year in 2022 for PC and PlayStation, and it flew under the radar for me. When I first saw it, I thought to myself, oh, that's kinda neat, I guess you play as a cat in that game. That was as extensive as my research for the game went. Little did I know what an absolute joyride this would be for me. Let me give you a brief synopsis if you are unfamiliar with this extremely charming game. You start off living an average cat life with your homies, when it all goes awry in an instant. You suddenly find yourself thrusted into an underground city that has been seemingly frozen in time, yet is longing for a glimpse at the world above. The environments that you explore, as well as the sentient robot beings that you communicate with, remind you that this place was in fact teeming with human life. These robot companions that you encounter have become self-aware that they are all that is left, and they have done their best to salvage every last bit of this place for themselves. Alright, I can get down with this. Quite honestly, it is a bleak existence in this city, and you get that sense so quick. I had the exact same sense of eeriness and dread when playing Half-Life 2 and Portal for the first time. I truly could not believe the feeling that I had while playing Stray because of how strikingly similar the vibe of this game is compared to those two great classics. You can tell how much this game was inspired by those two games, and if the devs tried to tell me otherwise, I would not believe them. And I don't mean that as a critique, I just couldn't believe how much this game reminded me of those two games. The game is totally uninterested in any of the over-the-top modern gaming tropes and instead relies heavily on its environment and world building in order to pique the player's curiosity. And my god, what a world they have built. Come on. I've got to be the coolest cat in this city. You won't go to too many locations overall throughout the course of the game because it is very short. I completed this game in about 5 hours, and while that may be disappointing to some, I think it worked perfectly for me. I play so many big ass games, open world, you name it. They're amazing games, some of my favorite of all time, and I love a deep, enriching story, but this was just a nice change of pace. The fact that Stray isn't one of these open world behemoths means that they must rely heavily on every small detail around this small hero, and for the most part they do. Some areas are definitely more bland than others, but the cityscapes, man, how does this look so good? I was not expecting this level of graphical fidelity. The neon lights, the reflections, particles, puddles that shimmer, and there's a designated meow button. That doesn't have anything to do with graphics, I just wanted to tell you that. Now, the fact that the protagonist is just a cute, furry little friend really opens the door to the player's imagination and leans heavily into the fact that you are indeed just a fucking cat. This cat doesn't even have a name. It's not played by Mike Myers either. And the game does such a good job of making you care about this seemingly useless protagonist that has now been faced with the biggest challenge of its life, leading you to learn just how important you really are. Oh god. Oh no. Oh shit, I'm dead. Talk about an unlikely hero. These robotic beings need you more than they ever could have known, and the tale that is told here involves a wide array of interesting characters. Now, the writing of these robot characters is surprisingly good. There are no words spoken in the game. Instead, you just read through their dialogue as they sputter out their robotic sounds, and it really speaks to how much character these tin can looking things can actually have. You will actually start to care about these things way more than you would expect. At least I did. I really like this bartender guy. Yeah, I'll have a gin and tonic. You are also accompanied by this little bot that will assist you in your travels. He's like your own little BD-1 from Jedi Fallen Order. This bot will discuss rather interesting subjects with you. Throughout the course of the short 5-hour story, your equally small and adorable pal will give you some more insight to the world around you and just what happened to this place. A place that now looks up to their own version of the stars, but what is actually a grate with artificial lights that shelters them from the outside world above. Something that struck a chord with me was a conversation where BD-1 2.0 comes in talking about what does it feel like to die? Do AI feel pain when they die? Cat Game gets pretty deep, man. And this is where I have to tie it back to something like Portal, and I can't stress enough how much I was thinking of that game in particular the entire time. It's the same deal to where it's a cool science fiction setting and you think you know what's going on because on the surface level you do know what's going on. It's easy to pick up either one of these games, and then by the end of it you realize it was a bit deeper and more complex at their core. No pun intended. The first time you walk through Aperture Science, you're like, okay, I get it. This is a puzzle game. It's a pretty short game. I'm a test subject. All of a sudden, the feeling of isolation and desperation sets in, and you're like, what's going on here? GLaDOS becomes progressively more evil, and soon you're like, this maniacal bitch is trying to keep me here forever. There's more to it than I thought. The cake is a lot. While there is an overall grim undertone to Stray, there's also some silliness to be had, and it's fun to be a dick. Steel jacket? Oh no, he caught me. Don't give me the jacket, I'll ruin your rug, you son of a bitch. The most important question is, how does it actually feel to be a feline? That is something most of us will truly never know, unless you happen to be a cat watching this, then in that case, welcome. The cat controls quite fluently, and it's fun to navigate this place. I myself am not a cat person. I've never had a cat. I don't really care for them. I would have preferred that this would be called Dog Game, but goddammit, now I want a cat. The game is structured perfectly for your furry little body to quickly snap between gaps, pipelines, cross rooftops, even stop for a quick nap. It's the little things in a cat life, and it's the little things in this game that add up to make it feel like it's something pretty big. I don't think I will consider Stray one of my favorite games ever or anything like that, but if you're looking for novelty, something interesting, unique, something you've never seen before, I don't think you should look too far past Stray. Alright, I'm getting distracted.